And joining me right now is Carlo. Carlo van der Weijer, thank you. Here you go. Please use the mic. Let's go behind this impressive desk.
Okay.
We can sit right here, because obviously you are the main star of our show here this morning. You just gave us a seminar in the theater, and our viewers were able to watch that.
Okay.
Your background is you do a lot of things. One of it, you work at the University of Technology in Eindhoven, where they make stuff like this. If I move the flowers,
it starts.
We'll see that it actually works.
Fantastic.
This is obviously very futuristic. Oh, it's not even for you?
Yeah, this is robot cars, and a lot of the things they're doing you see already in some models that are on the market even, because they automatically have, you see, they don't crash in each other because they see each other. Yeah. So this prevents them to make accidents. And you can even make them smarter. There's Wi-Fi connected in this one as well. So we are testing all these kind of systems on a small scale with these cars. Actually, so they also communicate with each other. So if there's some sudden braking, for instance, it immediately communicates that with the other cars. So the last one can already start braking. They know that has something happening ahead of that, so they can already release the gas pedal, etc. That leads to a much more stable system. And before testing that in the big, which we also can on a local highway actually between Eindhoven and Helmond, that's a special
You're already
designated
doing
test surface.
These kind of devices
we
are driving around.
It's much safer and cheaper, and of course there are always bugs in it in the beginning. Yeah. And it's easier to get them out on this scale than on a real scale, and much safer. And that's what we do in researching. Now this is a demo field. We make it especially on bar height. So
this is ideal for us.
It attracts people as well on the something. But we have about 10, 20, 30 of these cars. We do all kind of traffic situations we can simulate with it.
And is this, when we talk about the future of mobility, is this what the future has in stock for us?
Yeah, actually it indicates that cars, because it looks like a bunch of, that's not
let's
purposely
put the flowers in, so they'll get a traffic jam.
We don't get annoyed here again.
Yeah.
But in fact, you can see these cars that they are full of intelligence and a lot of electronics, and that's really how a car has changed. It's more an iPad on wheels and
an iPad on wheels.
Yeah, that's actually how it looked like. The most added value of cars comes from the electronics nowadays. And the fact what these cars are doing and make it different with other ones, they're also communicating with each other. So they are very intelligent. That's what's happening on the road as well at this moment. And they start sharing this intelligence with each other. So if the front car, it measures itself when the road is slippery, for instance. Cars know that because of their ESP systems and anti-locking brake, etc. It immediately can share that with other cars, so they already can reduce speed because there's an oil stain or whatsoever on the street. So this intelligent cars sharing data, that's actually the essence of what we are researching at the university.
Exactly, because, and then you take that into several topics. We see in year 7 to safety, to congestion, to pollution.
Exactly.
I love your quote, and I think you just used it in the seminar as well. I mean, in the future, being in a traffic jam is a predictable and voluntary event, right?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, there has to be capacity. If there's only one road, then you know there's a gazillion people wanting to go from A to B through that one road. You know there's traffic. So there has to be capacity. That's a basic.
You can always take a bike.
But then, knowing that there's a certain capacity, in the future cars will exactly know their travel time because they inform each other about traffic jams, etc. You have the historical data from all these cars, and all this intelligence from these cars will give full transparency of what's happening on the road. And if you then go from A to B and you know that it takes 1 hour and 32 minutes extra, either you decide to take another modality to stay at home working, which is more and more possible in the future as well. Yeah. Or you just accept the fact that you're on your way for 1 hour and 32 minutes extra, and that also releases stress. Yeah. Because if you do know it's not gonna last forever, so if there's perfect information, at least it reduces stress. You have security, and you might need 1.5 hours to do telephone conferences, etc., which is easier in the car in the future because it helps you driving in this traffic jam.
But so at least the annoyance of congestion and traffic jams are gone.
We're not gonna get all the traffic jams out because there's a limited capacity. Always will be a limited capacity. Yeah. But we can very better distribute it over the available capacity. Yeah. Over modalities, so the better distribution of the traffic over the available system. That's one thing that's going to happen, and we can take the insecurity out, which is by far the most stressful thing and also the most expensive thing. For instance, if a truck goes from A to B and has a traffic jam.
I was thinking, if we're talking about annoyances, that's consumer market, but trucks, I mean, you can tell a truck you can go do phone calls for 1.5 hours, but that's the same time wasted, no?
That's wasted. The fact, what's important with truck, and that we're making this link with our transport and logistics departments as well, because there's a lot of added value there. If a truck knows that it's going to be 1 hour and 2 minutes late, at least if you have this information, the total system can adapt to that.
The supply chain can do something. The supply chain
can adapt to that, and maybe it's not a problem to be 1 hour and 2 minutes late. They can decide on the other end from, okay, then when it's done there, then we first do this job and wait for the truck. It's 1 hour and 2 minutes late, and then we do that job.
So you solve the problem somewhere down the road.
If you have insecurity when this truck is coming, you just wait and wait and wait, and that's really the most costly thing. So getting the insecurity out of a transport and logistic chain is another thing that we are researching at this moment.
All right, and does that, going back to these these little vehicles, doesn't that mean we just need to get the person out?
That's the thing. There's no person indeed in this thing, but these things do not crash and have lethal things.
And they drive the right speed, and they can wait if they have to drive slower.
Exactly. We did not develop that they can overspeed. And there's no speed trap here in this infrastructure.
But isn't the whole human element the key source of all trouble?
It is. Not the key.
And then mainly, as you always say, the other drivers, right?
90% is human error of accidents, and it's, I think, 2 or 3% is because something happened with the vehicle, and that's also going down because we get more and more. For instance, a flat tire, and therefore you have an accident that can happen. And it's about 7% things that happen on the road when there's a pothole or something, and that's it. So 7%, but 90% is human error. Now you can either say, okay, then we just cut out the humans.
Yeah, like in airplanes, we have an autopilot.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. There's still a pilot in an airplane. Yeah, because he carries the end responsibility, and that's also going to happen for the next decades in cars. That you need an end responsible person, which is a person in the car. And an airplane still has the steering wheel, or how you say it. It's not steering wheel. At least it has its control and
control sticks.
So control sticks. So and this has a reason, because the legal issue might be much more complicated tackling than the technical issue.
Because what if an accident happens or a pedestrian gets hit? Was it the computer's fault? Was it the programmer's fault?
And people will not accept accident happens with autonomous cars. We do accept that accident happen with normal cars. We have a system built up, we have insurance, etc. And the law is as such. If you can't help at certain having an accident, there's limited liability. So we accept that cars have accidents. We will not accept that automated cars will have accidents.
Exactly.
Not for 99.99999% of the cases. And 99.9 we might achieve already today. But getting the extra 9 behind that and behind that and behind that is every time is 10 or 100 times more effort. We're doing research in that. We're getting close, but that's going to be a long development cycle.
If you can take us a little bit further in the future, where because a lot of this stuff, I think that's the key message of today. There's stuff coming out of the academic world into real practice, full-scale tests. These demos are all happening, but you know what's on the academic research table right now. What is ahead of us?
Yeah, ahead of us. So you see all these things now coming up, but there's more and more parts where the car will help the driver with his driver task, and these are things like we see now already in practice the lane guidance, and that's being you help there. But in the future, we'll also see that the space between vehicles might get shorter, so you will be reluctant to drive, but 0.3 seconds from your predecessor. So the bumper stitching,
tailgating is the official word.
That's the official word. So that's going to happen, but
that's
then
actually going to be exactly a benefit for traffic.
Yeah, exactly. At a certain moment, people will be open to trust the vehicle that it can drive on 0.3 seconds, which saves space, energy, etc. So that's a good thing, and
the key question is
that's one example of the next thing.
I guess because we kind of start modeling and modifying the car. The key question is, do we need so much emphasis on road transport in general? I mean,
No, that's a good question.
if we see this week what's happening with the NSS, teleworking, other modalities, e-bikes that we see right here, maybe we should just get rid of the car.
The way how we approach modality, it's actually one of our main research areas. Is how is the use of modalities changing and the use of mobility is changing. That's
the really intermodal split,
and
right?
how we can help governments to make this switch and this this evolution into a new kind of mobility. And we can help governments with that. It's a transition that you can only push a little bit because it's for the better for everybody. So this changing in how people act with mobility. When there's full transparency on how to come from A to B, you do not automatically grab to your car as we used to do.
Yeah.
And this goes hand in hand with a lot of trends. This information is explicitly available. Also the fact that youngsters do not automatically want to possess a car.
That's a crazy fact,
They want to
right?
use a car every now and then, but they do not automatically want to possess a car. They might want that if they have children and live in the suburbs. But now with youngsters all moving to the city, a car, when at least I was young, a car was freedom.
Yeah.
Car was really one-on-one extra, give you freedom. When you're living in a city, freedom means
it's
having
annoyance.
no car. It's
exactly.
an annoyance. It limits your freedom. You have to get up early because you have to put coins in the parking machine.
And you have to find parking place and it
all
gets
kind of things
broken into.
You come home and you have to search for a parking place for 45 minutes. That limits your freedom and your time. So people want to get rid of cars.
Exactly.
These are all trends that help the fact that we do not automatically come to this car and are more open to use.
Are you never afraid that those trends might be so much bigger that all this effort that goes into making cars smarter is then actually a waste?
That's a good. It's not a waste. I think it pays off to do both things, and that's what we call. We have two lines in our research. We call it sensible and durable. It's just a summarizing of sensible. First, try to do your mobility organization, support these transitions, etc. And then we always need vehicles, be it trains or mopeds or transport, and let's do that as durable as possible.
I get a sign from Gerry that actually some of our viewers are sending in questions. So let's pull Gerry in. Gerry, please share. and great job for doing that. You have the mic,
I think I need this mic as well.
Okay, good.
I just wanted to share with you that we have people from 35 different countries watching at the moment, all over the world. So I'd like to know if you have anything to share with them, specifically people from...
In an international context.
Yes, people from China to the US, from Australia to South Africa.
And they're all awake at this time?
Yeah.
Yes,
it's a good evening in China and it's a good morning in the States, I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. An interesting thing, because I think out of 35 countries, there must also be, as we call it, the emerging countries, but we do a lot of business with them as well. Because there's an interesting fact that a lot of these systems are coming up so quickly. You see that the developed countries, as it's called, they have a lot of heritage installed traffic systems and have more trouble making this transition than these newer countries that might skip or leapfrog some of these steps. And you see these very clever people in these countries see that as well. And you see, for instance, Brazil, they do not have inductive loops as traffic measurement systems. You see that now immediately skipping, as we call it, floating car data. Try to follow a certain percentage of your cars in order to establish a traffic measurement of traffic information. All these kind of things you see that there's, we do this with South Africa as well, you see that there. They make the clever choice in order to immediately go to this next step of mobility system. And that's a very interesting thing happening in the world at this moment.
Exactly. Yes?
Okay.
I was wondering if you already mentioned the goodie bag. Because we have your presentations in the virtual goodie bag, and you'll find that on the site where you're watching. You're watching the live stream in the middle of the page, and on the right side at the bottom, there we have uploaded your presentations so people can read back and have a bit more depth information. And the last question from the online audience, what do you consider as the most innovative thing you have seen on the Intertraffic show?
Yeah, except from this table here, of course. Yeah.
Can we give him another round?
At the first, I must say that we are here in the Smart Mobility Center, and I've been dragged into a lot of interesting meetings that I haven't been able to leave the island yet. So I cannot.
So you haven't even seen the rest of the show.
I have to excuse myself to all the other halls. It's so incredibly interesting what's happening all here. But that's going to happen after this interview. I have some more time, I hope.
Yeah.
So far, the most intelligent.
So what sticks out? Yeah.
What sticks out at this moment, especially the thing what you see here, especially in this smart mobility thing, is that you see also the Intertraffic hosts that very well. You see, apart from this old school development that also has a lot of high tech in it, you see it also moving from more intelligence in the car. And that's what's happening here actually in this smart mobility center. And you see all these apps adding information that increases this new world. A very bright thing that I saw was a system called Flister.
Okay.
And they have now a system installed, and we're going to launch it here hopefully quickly in the Netherlands. That as soon as an ambulance or a fire truck comes or a police car approaches you or is in the near, you get a sign and you immediately see it either on your navigation system on another
move to the right. Yeah.
And then you see that, and you know that's something happening, so you don't get scared if it happens, because a lot of accidents happen that people panic, and they
so you get an early warning that is coming.
That was a nice one, the Flister, I should say. But I have to say again, I haven't seen more than 15% yet, so I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the day for that.
All right. Good luck, Carlo. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, and a very interesting seminar.